My name is Joseph Weber. Hello. So you're going to start with uh, you're going to start with the first annual March Martyrs Madness bracket. So for those of you that are familiar with the March Madness bracket that occurs every March for the college basketball, this is something similar to that, but with a little spin that I'm doing about martyrs. So it'll debut next year in 2020. It'll debut in 2024. So we're going to start by going over the theme. So this one is the thought that I had, and it is martyred saints through the years. 32 saints that were martyred throughout history will go head to head in a popular bracket known as March Madness. So this will include no venerables, servants of gods, or blessed, just as the name suggests. So with that out of the way, let's meet our holy competitors. St. Paul. He lived from 5 AD to roughly 64 or 65 AD. He was born in Tarsus in the Roman Empire, modern-day Turkey, known for many epistles in the Holy Bible, both certain and disputed. He died in Rome. He was canonized by prior to the Congregation of the Cause of the Saints, and he has many feast days. Among them are January 25th for his conversion, February 10th, which is an unofficial feast day for the shipwreck in Malta, June 29th along with St. Peter, and November 18th for the dedications of the basilicas of Saints Peter and Paul. The next one is St. Stephen. He lived from roughly 5 AD to 33-36 AD. He was the first martyr of the faith, or proto-martyr, and he was one of the 7 deacons chosen, 7 earliest deacons to serve the message of God. He appeared in the early chapters of Acts of the Apostles, notably Acts chapter 6. His feast day is December 26th, often referred to as Boxing Day if you live in Canada or outside of the United States. The next one is St. James the Greater. He died in the year 44 AD. He is the first of the 12 apostles to be martyred, second apostle to die following Judas Iscariot. It's just like Bruno, we don't talk about Judas. But he's the patron saint of Spain and woodcarvers. The reason why he's the patron saint of Spain is possibly his missionary work included Spain. And his feast date is July 25th. The next one is St. Peter. He lived from 1 AD to 68 AD. He is considered the first bishop of Rome, or pope. He is the one who received the keys of heaven, and he allegedly saw Jesus before he died, and this is the Domine Quo Vadis, in which it's an alleged text saying from the Acts of Peter, chapter 35, saying that as Peter was fleeing Rome, he saw Jesus coming to Rome, and Peter said, Domine Quo Vadis, which means, Lord, where are you going? And Jesus said, I'm heading to Rome to be crucified again, or what it means in Latin, Romam ergo crucifigi. He was crucified upside down in a manner of denying Jesus. And his feast days are June 29th, alongside with St. Paul, and February 22nd for the chair of St. Peter. The next one is St. Tarcisius. He lived in the 3rd century. He is considered the patron saint of first communicants and altar servers, and his feast day is August 15th. The reason why I chose him is that he is one of the martyrs of the Eucharist, and he was an acolyte. He was an acolyte, altar server, and often gave food to the body of Christ to those imprisoned or awaiting their execution during the times of the early Christian executions. The next one is St. George. He died in the year 303. He is attributed to the legend of St. George and the Dragon, which is basically a legend about bravery and chivalry. He's the patron saint of soldiers and Boy Scouts worldwide, which is the reason why I chose him. And his feast day is April 23rd. The next one is St. Polycarp. He lived from 69 AD to 155. He was the bishop of Smyrna, modern-day Izmir, Turkey. He is the patron saint of earache sufferers and was a possible disciple of St. John the Apostle, who was considered an influence for him. His feast day is February 23rd. The next one is St. Justin the Martyr. He is known for his writing of the First Apology and is considered an ancient philosopher. His feast days are June 1st and April 14th, which was on the Roman calendar from 1882 to the year 1969. The next one is St. Oscar Romero. He lived from 1917 to the year 1980. He was Archbishop of San Salvador from February 1977 to March 24th, 1980. He was the only saint to be assassinated and is a recent person to be canonized. He's the patron saint of persecuted Christians and of his archdiocese in San Salvador. His feast day is March 24th. The next one is St. Sebastian. He lived from 255 to 288. He was a Roman soldier and captain of the Praetorian Guard during the reign of Diocletian, one of the emperors who persecuted Christians. He is known for being tied to a post, tree, pillar, and shot with arrows at first as his quote-unquote first martyrdom, which is considered the most depicted scene in his life throughout many artworks attributed to him. He is the patron saint of archers, soldiers, and athletes. His feast day is January 20th. The next one is St. Lawrence. He lived from the year 255 to 258. He was an archdeacon of Pope Sixtus II, who would also be martyred as well. Lawrence was known for being martyred. Is known for the only martyr to be executed on a gridiron. He allegedly, when he was being cooked, he made the joke saying, "You can turn me over now because this side of me is done." And he's the patron saint of seminarians. His feast day is August 10th. The next one is St. Edmund Campion. You might remember him from the second season of Martyrs. He was a member of the Jesuits, and he was nicknamed the Pope's Champion. He refused to accept Anglicanism in England, so he was executed by being hung, drawn, and quartered at the Tyburn Gallows on December 1st, 1581. He renounced Anglicanism in many countries, ranging from France, Germany, and even parts of England. He is the patron saint of the United Kingdom, and his primary feast date is December 1st. Next one is St. Paul Miki. He was born in 1562 and lived until 1597. He was a Japanese Catholic Jesuit, and there was a legend story saying that he and his companions sang the Te Deum, which is the Thank You God song in Latin of God, from Kyoto, Japan to Nagasaki, which is roughly 600 miles. He is one of the 26 martyrs of Nagasaki, Japan, who died on February 5th, 1597. His feast day is February 6th. The next one is St. Innocencio of Mary Immaculate. He lived from 1887 to 1934. He was a member of the Congregation of the Passion of Jesus Christ, or CP, and it's one of the many martyrs of the Spanish Civil War. There are countless martyrs in the Spanish Civil War, so that's why I put the emphasis on many. His feast date is October 9th. The next one is St. Bruno of Curfort. He lived from the year 970 to the year 1009. He is known as the second apostle of the Prussians, is the patron saint of Prussia, and his feast day is March 9th. The next one is St. Edith Stein, or better known by her religious name of Teresa Benedicta of the Cross. She lived from 1891 to 1942. She was a Carmelite nun and a German Jewish religious philosopher with a notable work of the Science of the Cross, and is one of the many martyrs of the Second World War. Next one is St. Maximilian Kolbe. He lived from 1894 to the year 1941. He is a Franciscan brother from Poland, best known for his devotion to the Immaculate Prayer, and saved Franciszek Jajawansek from death. He was well known for, the story goes, is that a prisoner escaped Auschwitz concentration camp, and the officer ordered 10 individuals at random to be executed, and one of those was Franciszek, and he was pleading to the officer saying, please don't, I have a wife and family. And Maximilian said, I'll take his place. And he was the last person of the 10 to be executed. He was in gas chambers, and what really got Maximilian was and he died of lethal injection. And he was martyred on August 14th, 1941 at Auschwitz concentration camp, and he would be canonized and beatified, of which at both of them, Francis and his family were present for both the canonization and the beatification. He is also one of the many martyrs of World War II. The next one is St. John Fisher. He was an English cardinal who denounced Henry VIII's religious reformations, and as a cardinal, he had a motto saying, which is Faciam vos fieri piscatoris hominum, which means, I shall make you fishers of men. He was executed on June 22nd, 1535, which is 2 days before the nativity of St. John the Baptist, which is his namesake's name, which is the namesake for John Fisher. He would be beatified on December 29th, 1886 by Pope Leo XIII, and would be canonized May 19th, 1935 by Pope Pius XII. His feast day is June 22nd, a feast he shares alongside with St. Thomas More. He is also the patron saint of the Diocese of Rochester by decree of John the 23rd in the year 1961. The next one is St. Valentine, who lived from the year 226 to the 269. He was a clergyman who ministered persecuted Christians, and he was martyred on the Flaminian Way, or Via Flaminia. He is the patron saint of Lesbos, Greece, happy marriages, mentally ill people, and, of course, the patron saint of love. His feast date is February 14th, hence the name of Valentine's Day. The next one is St. Maria Goretti, who lived from 1890 to 1902. She is nicknamed by some people the St. Agnes of the 20th century. She was a child martyr, murdered by Alessandro Serenelli, who, after her death, converted and was forgiven by her parents and repented by becoming a Capuchin layman. Alessandro's story is an interesting one because although he stabbed Maria Goretti several times, the Gorettis forgave him. Maria was beatified on April 27th, 1947 by Pius XII and canonized on June 24th, 1950 by the same pope. She is the patron saint of rape victims, and her feast day is July 6th. Next one is St. Ignatius of Antioch. There's plenty of disputes about the date that he died, the year that he died, but it ranges from either 108 to the year 149. He's another possible disciple of John the Evangelist, and is one of the three most important of the Apostolic Fathers, and is known for being executed by being murdered by wild beasts. His feast date is October 17th, and the relics of Ignatius of Antioch reside in the Basilica of St. Clement in Rome after the year 637. And speaking of Clement, he is our next martyr. He lived from 35 AD to the year 99 AD. He is considered the fourth pope in the Catholic Church, with his tenure of 11 years, from the year 88 to 99. He is known as the first apostolic father and is known for being executed by having an anchor around his neck, and because of that story, he is the patron saint of mariners. His feast date is November 23rd. The next one is St. John Wall. He lived from 1620 to the year 1679. He is a member of the Order of Friars Minor, and he took the religious name of Joachim of St. Anne, and his feast date is July 12th. And this is an interesting one because this is a Franciscan martyr. And I learned about him through the Steubenville Conference. So the next one is St. Alban. He is considered the British proto-martyr who died on June 22nd, but the years is disputed from 209 to 251 or 304. He is the patron saint of converts and refugees, and his feast day is June 20th. And it was June 22nd, prior to the year 1960. The next one is St. Andrew Kim Tae-gon. He is the first Korean-born Catholic priest who lived from 1821 to 1846. He was beheaded near Seoul on the Han River, beatified in the year 1925 by Pius XI, and was canonized May 6, 1984 by Pope John Paul II, along with 102 other Korean martyrs. He is the patron saint of Korean clergy, and his feast day is September 20th. The next one is St. Juan de Padilla. He was born roughly in the year 1490 and was martyred in the year 1542. He is one of the first Christian martyrs in the United States. He was a member of the OFM and assisted Francisco Vázquez de Coronado in exploring North America, and was killed by Native Americans in what would become Kansas. That cross that you see here on the screen here, that was erected as a commemorative cross dedicated to Juan de Padilla in the year 1950. The next one is St. Pedro Poveda Castroverde. He is a priest and founder of the Teresian Association. He was a humanitarian and educator as well. He was also a martyr of the Spanish Civil War. He was beatified and canonized by the same Pope. He was beatified October 10th, 1993, and canonized May 4th, 2003. And his patron saint and his patronage is of the Teresian Association, and his feast date is July 28th. The next one is St. Jose Maria Robles Hurtado. He is a priest. He is a member of the Knights of Columbus Council of 1979, and is nicknamed the Madman of the Sacred Heart for his excruciating devotion. He was martyred during the Cristero War that took place in Mexico, and was beatified November 22nd, 1992 by Pope John Paul II, and was canonized May 21st, 2000 by Pope John Paul II. He has two feast days. The first one is May 21st, a day that he shares with many companions, and the date of his death, the day of his death is June 26th. The next one is Saint Cecilia, who lived from roughly 200 to the year either 222 or 235. She was married to Valerian and was founded incorruptible in the year 1599. Is the patron saint of music and musicians. Her feast day is November 22nd. And the fun facts about her is that her story is recounted by a nun in Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales. So if you ever read it, skim it again for Cecilia. The next one is Saint Solomon Leclerc. He was a priest and member of the Institute of the Brothers of Christian Schools, or FSC. He was martyred during the French Revolution for refusing to take an oath of allegiance. He was beatified October 17th, 1926, by Pope Pius XI, and was a recent canonized person, being canonized October 16th, 2016, by Pope Francis. The next one is St. Adalbert of Prague. He lived from roughly 956 to the year 997. He was the Bishop of Prague. Much about his life was a little bit unknown, other than being tutored by another person named Adalbert. But he was canonized in the year 999 by Pope Sylvester II as the patron saint of Poland and of the Czech Republic. His feast day is April 23rd. The next one is St. Agnes. She lived from the year 291 to roughly 304. She was a virgin and child martyr, originally bound to the stake, but survived before being beheaded. She was another one of those popular people that was canonized. She is the patron saint of victims of sexual abuse, and her feast day is January 21st. The next one is St. Oliver Plunkett. He lived from 1625 to the year 1681. He was the Archbishop of Armagh, Ireland, and primate of all of Ireland, and was the last victim of the Popish plot to be executed. The Popish plot is a historical revolution, failed revolution that occurred, and it's an interesting story. I'll probably do a video on that sometime soon. So, if you want to learn more about the Popish plot, give it a like. The next one, so he was beatified May 23rd, 1920 by Pope Benedict XV, and was canonized October 12th, 1975 by Pope Paul VI. He is the patron saint of peace and reconciliation in Ireland, and his feast day is July 1st. Next person is St. Andrew Dong Lac. He lived from 1795 to the year 1839, and he is a priest from Vietnam. He changed his last name from Dung to Lac, and was beatified November 21st, 1900, by Pope Leo XIII, was canonized June 19th, 1988, by Pope John Paul II. He is the patron saint of the Diocese of Orange in Orange County, California, and his feast day is November 24th, along with a whopping 116 other martyrs of Vietnam, spanning from the 16th century to the 19th century. So with that concludes the martyrs that will be competing. So if you are interested in learning more about who is going to be competing, here is the link to the bracket. So note the dates and the time. So it'll start on February 13th at 12 o'clock. So that's when the voting begins. So it's 3 rounds up until the semifinals and finals. So if you have any questions, don't be hesitant to talk to me in the comments, or I will drop a message. Otherwise, thank you so much. March Martyrs Season 4, or Season 3, bleh, words are so hard to say right now. March Martyrs Season 3 will premiere the following day, February 14th, on Valentine's Day. And yeah, so 5 new martyrs have been chosen. So hope to see you there. Take care, guys. Bye for now.